Okay, when I first read this comment, I thought that when you said master key, you were referring to a key that opened up every single door at the hotel, and I nearly had a heart attack. Then I realized that even the most incompetent front desk agent would never tell a guest that the key they were giving them was a master key. All that aside, you absolutely have every right to be freaked out when a front desk agent just hands you a key to a room without checking your ID, because how do they know that you're really who you say you are? Now look, it's one thing if you've been staying in a hotel for a while or you're a frequent guest and you've gotten to know the people who work there. Technically, they should still ask for your ID, but I understand why they wouldn't. But if you just walk up to a desk and you've never seen that front desk agent before, they've never seen you before, and they just hand you a key to your room, you have every right to stop and be like, that's sus. What if you've lost your ID or you left your ID in the room? Most hotels have a few different ways of figuring out your identity without needing your actual government ID. A lot of hotels will ask the guest to verify the information on file, their name, the email, phone number, address, and last 4 digits of the credit card. Once the guest is accurately given all that information, then usually they'll be given a key to the room. But this method still isn't foolproof from, say, a crazy ex or a stalker. So it's never been my preferred method. I found that the simplest and safest fix if a guest has left their ID in the room is to simply have security escort that guest to the room and stand within the threshold of the room while the guest goes and gets their ID and then shows it to them for verification. 9 times out of 10, if a guest has left their ID in the room, that is what happens. But unfortunately, you will encounter front desk agents and hotels who don't want to take those extra steps, and in cases where you feel uncomfortable, it is best to go to management and or even go as high as corporate to report, because safety is a #1 priority in all hotels. At least it should be. All right, the audit's running. We're 100% sold out and we have everyone all checked in. It's gonna be an easy night of just babysitting the desk. Good evening. Hello, I'm here to check in. You're here to check in for tonight? Here's my ID and credit card. Ma'am, I'm very sorry, but we don't have any more availability for tonight. No. I have a room here. Are you sure? Yeah. See, I have my confirmation right here. Oh, ma'am, I'm really sorry, but your reservation is for Monday night, and it's Sunday. Well, then it's a good thing that it is technically tomorrow. I mean, the way that time works says that once it's midnight, it's the next day, and that clock says that it's 1:30 a.m., so it is Monday right now. That may be how time works, but that's not how a hotel works, and within our systems, it is still Sunday night. Well, I don't see how it's my fault that your system doesn't realize that it's already tomorrow. The system is turning over to Monday right now, but the fact of the matter is that we are still operating under Sunday night. How about this? How about we wait until your system realizes that it's tomorrow and then you check me in? Ma'am, even if I could give you an outrageously early check-in, we were sold out for Sunday night, so we're not going to have any rooms available even after the day turns over. So you're telling me that you oversold? Ma'am, we didn't oversell. We were 100% for Sunday night, and for Monday night, we have rooms available. This doesn't make any sense. You know what? I think that you need to get me your manager. Ma'am, I am acting manager. If you would like to speak to the front desk manager, then they'll be in at about 7 a.m. Well, then call them. I don't care how late it is. Ma'am, I am not waking up my front desk manager at 1:30 a.m. They come in tomorrow at 7 a.m. and that's when you can speak with them. I'm not waiting 6 hours for you guys to fix a mistake that you've made. You promised me a room for Monday night. It is Monday night. You're right. It is Monday. And our check-in for Monday isn't until 3 p.m. It is currently 1:30 a.m., so you have over 12 hours until you may check in with us. You know what? This is still your fault, because the website should have told me when I was booking that I wouldn't be able to check in till 3 p.m. on Monday. As a matter of fact, it is stated when you book with us, and if you take a look at that confirmation you showed me, it does say check in at 3 p.m. I am not arguing with you about this anymore. You've lost yourself a customer, Missy. I'm canceling my reservation. Alrighty, I'll cancel your reservation for tomorrow night. Hello, your favorite hotel nerd is here to answer a question that I literally only saw one person ask, but I really want to talk about. That question is, how are rooms assigned at hotels? The person who asked this question actually went on to mention the fact that they had arrived at a hotel for a few days and last minute need to extend, but they had to move rooms in order to keep staying at the hotel because they were told that someone was assigned to come in after them, and they were curious as to why that person couldn't just be moved to a different room and why they're the ones that had to move. And now the commenter did clarify that they weren't complaining, they were just curious as to how it all worked. Well, I may or may not have wrote them an essay of a reply before realizing that I could have just made a video explaining it. Now, keep in mind, I have worked for a small boutique hotel. I have worked for a 1,000+ room convention hotel, a 1,000+ room luxury hotel, and I have worked for one of the largest resorts in the Orlando area. Haha! Every single one of these hotels had their own operating system and their own system for assigning rooms. Now, at the smaller boutique hotel, it was actually up to the front desk agents to assign the rooms themselves. You would think it'd be the opposite, but actually when you work for a small hotel, you have a lot more responsibilities as an individual than if you were working as a front desk agent at a much larger hotel. Also, why, as a side note, it's actually recommended to go work for smaller hotels over larger hotels if you want to get a foot in and really learn about the hotel industry, but that's another thing. At this small boutique hotel, the AM front desk agent was actually responsible for going in and looking at every single arrival that was coming in that day, and there generally was maybe only between 20 to 50 at most arrivals for that day, and looking at their comments to see if they had any requests, and then after that taking a look at their membership status, because this boutique hotel was paired with a much larger chain that had its own rewards program, and seeing where they fell in that membership status, and then assigning in a priority of the highest tier to the lowest tier any requests, upgrades, etc. But then that also meant taking a look at the days coming up and seeing what types of rooms had been reserved. Because, for example, I might see that we have someone coming in today who is super high up as a rewards member, and ooh, I can upgrade them to a suite. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Here's a tricky part. You want to make sure that when you give that upgrade, you're not compromising yourself later in the week. So let's say that that premium member is going to be here for 5 days, and when you go to assign them to an upgraded suite, sure, you have 2 suites available, but in 2 days, both of those suites are actually sold. So you have 0 suites in a couple days. Well, what you've done by assigning that premium member to that suite is you have put yourself in the negative in the future, and then it becomes its own whole kerfuffle. So assigning rooms at that hotel was like a huge game of Tetris, and we were always trying to make sure we weren't messing it up. Now, when I worked for a convention and a luxury hotel that had about 1,000 rooms apiece, I wasn't in charge of really doing any major room assignments. It was actually an entirely different position at the hotel that handled a lot more of the behind the scenes things, and the front desk agents were mainly just in charge of checking people in and checking people out. Sometimes we were asked to help fill holes. So what that looks like is, let's say room 301 has a guest staying in it for 4 nights, it has a 2-night gap, and then it has another guest assigned to stay in it for 5 nights. We were asked to help try to fill those 2-night gaps. We would mainly do that by not assigning people who were staying for only 1 or 2 nights and asking them their preferences upon check-in. Like, did they prefer a view of the golf course, or did they prefer a view of the pool? And then we would try to fill those gaps according to their requests. And then when I worked for one of the largest resorts in the Orlando area, where they had about 20 hotels within that resort area, room assignments definitely got a bit more complicated, but also more simplified. So anyone who has ever booked a stay at this very, very magical resort will know that each of the individual hotels offer their own special room types, room categories, amenities, and it's just, you can go in and you can really start customizing the exact views and locations and buildings that you want. So then, understandably, the front desk agents had basically no say over any of the room assignments. It was all handled by people in the back, and 9 times out of 10, if I had a guest come up to me and they want to change a room location or a room feature, I would just call to the back, tell the person on the phone what the guest was looking for, and I would just wait for the person in the back to do their magic, and I would refresh the page, and boom, the room would be assigned as they wished, or I'd have to tell them, actually, no, we couldn't do that, or what have you. So with all that being said, when I tried to think of just what happened when that commenter said that they got to a hotel and need to extend and had to move their rooms, honestly, it could vary on a number of factors. I really have no way of knowing the hotel's exact reason for not being able to keep the commenter in the same room that they were already assigned to, but I would hazard to guess that there was a feature about the room, whether it was the king bed, the view, maybe the room type, that was not available for the days that the person wanted to extend to. That is just a guess because, again, hotels, like snowflakes, are all very different in their own ways. You would not think it, but there are so many factors that go into how hotels are built, what type of hotels are built, how they operate, the umbrella corporation that they may or may not operate under, and how that affects things, and it just, So I'm very curious for all my fellow hotel workers who work in that front office area, what is your room assignment system like? Is it something that you yourself handle? Do you have a team that handles it? Do you use a computer program that will assign rooms? Because I know that some people assume that it's all just an automatic system that goes in there and just assigns all the rooms automatically without anyone having to go touch it. But I don't believe I have ever worked for a hotel that has that sophisticated of a system. Yeah, I'm pretty curious. Please tell me your experience in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching this video. I know that it just turned into a whole ramble about my experience of assigning rooms at hotels, which I'm sure is a very niche subject that not many people are really going to care about, but I had fun talking about it, so here we are. Thank you very much if you watched anyway, and I hope you have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye! Oh, hi, you're new, right? I'm Jessica, nice to meet you. Hi, yeah, nice to meet you, I'm Natalia. Is this your first time working at the front desk of a hotel? Oh, God, no. I've worked in so many hotels before this that it's actually kind of ridiculous that they made me go through training again. I mean, I already know what I'm doing. Well, if you have any questions, I'm here to help, okay? Oh, thanks, hon, but, I don't think that'll be necessary. Okay, well, love the confidence. Hey, ma'am, you're all checked in. There are your keys. You're in room 712. That's gonna be on the 7th floor, and then down the hallway, a few doors on your right, okay? There are your keys. Have a great day. Hey, Natalia? Bye, ma'am. Yeah? Just as a word of advice, we don't tell the guests their full room number out loud. You can let them know what floor they're on, but you'd never want to say their entire room number out loud. Well, then how are they supposed to know what room they're in? You can write down the room number and circle it for them. I've literally never been told to do that before. That seems like a really tedious process for no reason. Well, it should be standard practice in all hotels that you never say the room number out loud. I mean, what if someone with ill intent is listening in? You never know what could happen. Everyone's so paranoid these days. Well, unfortunately, due to the world we live in, it is an extremely valid safety concern. I mean, there have been multiple cases of things happening to people because someone overheard their room number. Well, look, you're not my manager, and literally no one has told me that that's a rule here, so I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing because I'm not doing anything wrong. Okay, well, I just want to let you know that if a manager does overhear you giving away the full room number, you will be in trouble. Okay, then it seems like that's something a manager should talk to me about, not you. Okay? I can help the next guest over here. All right. Okay, ma'am, so you're all checked in. There are your keys. Your room number is 903. It's up on the 9th floor, and then to your left. Excuse me, what do you think you're doing? What? Do you not see that I'm a woman traveling alone? Why would you announce my room number for the entire room to hear? Okay, but like there's no one here, so it's not really that big of a deal. Actually, I consider my safety to be a pretty big deal, so you need to move my room right now. Ma'am, we're sold out tonight, so I can't move your room. Let me spell this out for you. I am the highest ranking rewards member of this hotel chain. I have been traveling for business for years. It is 4 p.m. I am fully aware that there are other rooms you can move me to. So either you do that or you get me your manager right now. Well, I can, I'd also be more than happy to call my brand representative. You know what? I'll move your room. I'll just move your room and swap it with someone else. Good choice. All right, ma'am, I have made your new keys and I have written down and circled the room number. There we go. Thank you. All right, and there are your keys. I've circled the room number. Have a great day. Bye. Hey, Natalia, come meet me in my office, please. What's up? What did you want to talk to me about? I just got a call from one of the agents who works with the brand representation program that is offered to our highest tier reward members, and I think you know what it was about. I mean, she was just being over dramatic. She was being dramatic. I mean, yeah, like you can't get into a room without a key, so who cares if someone overhears your room number? Be that as it may, unfortunately things have happened in the past, so moving forward, I need you to always be writing down the room number and circling it for the guest. Never say it out loud. Okay, but then like what if I go through that whole process and then I show the guest the room number and they're the ones that say it out loud, going, oh, I'm in room 903. Well, then that is a guest's choice, but the choices that you need to make always need to be first and foremost with the guest's safety in mind. I've never had to do that before. Well, I don't know about your other hotels, but the training that you just went through for this hotel mandates that you need to be doing it our way. So, if you would like to keep your job here, what will you be doing from now on? I will not say the room number out loud, write it down, circle it, and then give it to the guest. That's exactly right. Now you may go back to the desk. Thank you. I can help the next guest over here. Checking in. Here's my ID. Welcome in, Ms. Clark. Alrighty, I see that you're staying with us for 5 nights, and I do see that you are one of our highest elite rewards members, so thank you so much for your loyalty. Now, I do have a question for you. Yes, absolutely. When I was looking at my reservation online, I saw that it hadn't been upgraded, and I was wondering why that was. Oh, I do apologize, but unfortunately we don't have any upgrades available for your stay. But here's the thing, when I look right now, I actually see that you have a suite available for tonight. Now, you do understand that it is part of the privilege of being an elite member that I should get any available upgrades, right? Yeah, so we do have suites available for the next couple nights, but unfortunately, during your stay, we do sell out of suites, so that's why we couldn't upgrade you. Oh, I see. Well, how about this? Upgrade me for the next couple nights since you do have the suites available, and then I'll just move rooms. Well, unfortunately, management has made it a policy that we don't book guests into a room that they're going to have to move out of partway through their stay. I've never heard of that before, so why don't you just go and you ask your manager if that's something you can do for me? Well, I can go ask for you, but I'm afraid it is management's own policy. I'd still prefer you ask them. Okay, I will go ask the manager. Hey, manager? Hey, Jess, what's up? We have this super high elite guest, Miss Clark. She really wants a suite upgrade, but she's with us for 5 nights, and on the 3rd night, we're sold out of suites. So I've told her that we can't give her the upgrade, but now she's demanding to stay in the suite for 2 nights, and then she says she'll move. But I know we've had problems with guests promising that and then not moving in the past. So I told her that it was management policy that we don't check her into a room that we know we're gonna have to move her out of. But she wanted me to come back and ask you. So let me take.
দাদা মাইছে ঘরের মধ্যে কি দেখে না মেয়ে ছেলে গোসল করতেছে
দেহে তো ওটা দেখানোর লেগে আইছে। আরো মেহমান আইবো, তুই বাইরে যাই বসো।
আরে কই গেল ওই দিন? হ্যাঁ, ওনার কিছুই নাই, খালি বিড়াটা আছে।
সামনে ঈদ না, মাংসের দাম বাইরে গেছে, খাসির মাংসের দাম তো আরো বেশি।
ও ভাবি আমার একটা বাড়িতে করে একটুখানি দেন না, বাড়িতে লয়ে যাই। কি এইটা?
এটা দুম্বার বাচ্চা।
পুরো খালি মস্করা করে।
ভাবি
আজকে আমি ভালো
লেট্টিনটা কোন দিকে?
ওদিকে
তুমি কেন ছুটেই থাকবা, ফুপু ডাক শোনাইবা না?
আকাশ,
আরে আসতে খা।
আমার বইনে আইছে, বইনের জামাই আইছে।
আপনি কষ্ট করে রিক্সা চালাবেন আর আমি সেটার উপর বয়ে থাকবো, তাই হয় নাকি?
দেখো তো এই শাড়িটা আমাকে কেমন লাগছে?
শাড়িতে নারীকে সুন্দর লাগে এটা সাধারণ ব্যাপার, আর বাঙালি মেয়ে হলে তো কথাই নেই।
একটু গুরুত্ব দিতে শেখো। আমি তোমার ওয়াইফ, আমি তোমার দাসী না। পুরুষ মানুষ কি শুধু রাতেই নারীর অস্তিত্ব খুঁজে পায়?
তুমি কি কিছু লুকাচ্ছ আনিশা?
তুমি আমাকে সন্দেহ করছো?
আজ রাতে অনরমে ঘুমানোর কারণ কি?
কাকে মেরে তুমি এখানে ফেলে রেখেছো? আর তুমি তুমি আমার উপর দোষ চাপানোর চেষ্টা করছো? হ্যাঁ,
ও যে মারা গেছে তুমি কিভাবে জানলে?
তুমি যদি এখন কোনো ভুল করে থাকো আমাকে বলো, আমরা কোনো না কোনো একটা ব্যবস্থা করে নিব। বলো।
কেউ না কেউ তো মেরেছেই, আর কেউ না কেউ তো জেলে যাবেই।
ওর হাত জুটা, এর মানে তুমি খাবারে বিষ মিশিয়েছো এবং তুমি ডাইনিং টেবিলে এতক্ষণ খেতে আসোনি কারণ আমি যাতে তোমার জন্য ওয়েট করতে করতে সেই খাবার খেয়ে ফেলি এবং ওই খাবার খেয়ে আমার মৃত্যু হয়।
না 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 করে তো কোনো লাভ নেই, সব তো প্রমাণ হয়ে গেছে, আমার সামনে সব প্রমাণ আছে। কেন করেছো আনিশা?
আনিশা, আমরা লাশটাকে ফেলে দেবো।
মিষ্টি দেশের সুস্বাদু আম থেকে তৈরি হয় প্রাণ ফ্রুটো, যা নিমিষেই সব মুহূর্তকে বানায় এমনই মিষ্টি। মিষ্টি মুহূর্ত, সাথে প্রাণ ফ্রুটো।
ভাইয়া তো ফোন করছিল এয়ারপোর্টে তেল লাগে দাঁড়াই গেছে।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম।
কেমন আছেন দুলাভাই?
আসি মোটামুটি। দুলাভাই মানে?
এমন ভাব করতেছেন মনে হয় কিছু জানেনই না।
গ্রামে সব মানুষ কয় যে হে নাকি আমনের মাইয়া।
শুনলাম আপনি নাকি বিয়ে লেগে রাজি হয়েছেন।
আমি তো মদ খাই না।
অ্যাকচুয়ালি এটা অ্যাপেল জুস।
গ্রামবাসী আমার ধরছে সামনে মেম্বার নির্বাচনে ওরা আমার মেম্বার প্রার্থী হিসেবে দাঁড় করাতে চাই।
ভাবছিলাম এটা দিয়ে বিয়েটা শেষ, সমস্যা নাই, বিয়েটা আমি দেখতেছি আব্বা। আপনি আপাতত লাখ দিয়ে চালান।
2 লাখ টাকা দিয়ে নির্বাচন হয়? জীবনে বহুত বেঈমান ভাই দেখছি, বহুত বেঈমান ভাইয়ের গল্প শুনছি, কিন্তু আমার ভাইয়ের মতো বেঈমান আমি জীবনে কোনোদিন দেখি নাই।
বিয়ে করার জন্য ফাল পারতেছে। আচ্ছা টাকা নেই তাহলে বিয়ে করবে কি দিয়া?
ওর বিয়ে শাদীর মধ্যে আমি নাই। কামিয়ানের মা শফিকুলের কাছে বিয়ে দিব না, ভাইকে দিছে।
ওরাই তো বিয়ার প্রস্তাব পাঠাইলো।
আর নরমালি যদি কোনো পোলার কাছে টাকা পয়সা না থাকে তাহলে কোনো বাবা মাই তো তার মেয়ের তার সাথে বিয়ে দিব না। আমরা কি দিব?
প্রাণডালের আবেশে জটিল সময়ও মুঠোয় চলে আসে।
হা করো হা করো।
সময়টাকে মুঠোয় নিয়ে নাও।
প্রাণডাল।